Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Suzerain Kingdom of Rizia, where last episode we have started working. Well, I guess we signed a new trade deal with Swordland, trading wine for whiskey, and also we are going to be inviting Swordish capital to invest in tourism, in the tourism resort along the Valanquir region. Should be interesting. Not very popular with the royals, though. With the aristos. Nobility, that's the word. Renovations begin on Pavo Arch Sanctuary. Construction begins on Das Nurist Mega Sanctuary. Okay. Not wanted. Okay, preparations underway for 24th annual Vazek Rizian Friendship Day. Sure, as long as that friendship includes Smolak giving back my land. Okay, commission Taurus family statues. There's been a proposition to erect statues across the nation in honor of the Grand Legacy of House Taurus. The choices are varied, one that honors King Valero, another showcasing the late king alongside his son Ramus, or a grand portrayal of the entire recent Taurus legend. Apparently, I only have the option to commission Valero. No need for statues. Revolutionary Malianivist propaganda ban. Books, magazines, and pamphlets from Malianivist countries such as Cantana. Uh, Actually, we can ignore it. It's the same thing as allowing it. I'm guessing it's kind of the same thing as allowing it, but without costing me authority. We can ignore it. Private gonna bite me in the ass. Private audience with Golden Guard. The crisp morning air filled my lungs as I crossed the palace courtyard with Hugo. I was headed to a long overdue meeting with Titus regarding the Golden Guard, and my uncle had insisted on accompanying me. I'm glad you've arranged a formal meeting with Captain Gordian. There is much to be gained in fostering a robust relationship. Uh, yeah, I agree. There are substantial benefits to strengthening the ties between us. More than you know, I believe the Golden Guard possesses an untapped potential would prove quite advantageous should the need arise. I don't like where this is going. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Captain Gordian can tell you more. Be honest with me, Hugo. Do you believe Gordian can be trusted? I'm not sure Hugo can be trusted. But yeah, do you believe he can be trusted? He is, without a doubt, one of the most trustworthy individuals in the entire kingdom. And I look forward to getting to know him better today. It wasn't long before we'd crossed the courtyard and reached the armory, which also served the Golden Guard headquarters. And that's the question, loyal to whom? As we approached, a pair of soldiers flanked on either side of the entrance greeted us with a formal salute. They salute back, offer a high five. That would have been funny. I saluted them in return. Hugo and I continued on our way. Upon entering the armory, I found myself surrounded by a collection of old weaponry and armor on display. The polished shields and rusted swords appeared frozen in time. We eventually reached the training facility where we found Captain Gordian in boxing gloves sparring with another Golden Guardsman. My money is on Captain Gordian. What do you say? 50 guilder? Uh, I don't like any of any of the situations, I'll take that bet. I'm gonna lose, but... Your Honor. The two men circled each other for a while before they started swinging. 3 rounds later, the captain had his opponent on the ropes. Still feeling confident about your choice? I must admit, I fear I've placed my bets on the wrong man. Humility is a sign of strength and moral character. You shouldn't be afraid to display it, Your Majesty. Hugo made himself laugh. We continued watching the fight. My guy did manage to land a few hits, but in the end, Captain Gordian came out on top with his powerful punch to the jaw. It appears Captain Gordian has emerged victorious. You know I'm not paying you, right? What do you think? Should I hop in the ring? I could take him. It certainly does. Looks like I owe you. That's be a life lesson. I watched as Captain Gordian helped the other man to his feet. You're wasting too much energy running around the ring. Next time... Your Majesty, Master, many apologies. I didn't see you there. You're earlier than I expected. No need to apologize. Just like in the ring, timing can be a challenge. Very true, sir. Must say that's quite a right hook you got there. Courtesy of my former boxing days. Okay. Regardless, we should go. We've got plenty to talk about. Very good, sir. If you could come with me, I can take you somewhere more secluded. Captain Gordian removed his boxing gloves as he headed toward the entrance to another wing of the armory. Well, Your Majesty, shall we? I believe the kind of trust you want me to build with the Golden Guard can only be established by meeting Titus one-on-one. Really? I mean, yes, of course. Yeah, fuck off. I can wait around till my business is complete, but you're welcome to take your leave. Yes, understood. Hugo seemed to force a smile before bowing his head and turning away. He did not like that, did he? I left my uncle and caught up to Captain Gordian as he stepped inside the building. Upon entering, I was once again enveloped by an array of antiquated weaponry and armor. Titus motioned towards the displays. I brought most of this out of storage soon after I took command. A considerable portion of what you see was in bad shape and required extensive refurbishment. Quite the arsenal we've got here, Captain. Believe me, this is just a fraction of what the palace has got tucked away. If you desire, I'd be honored to provide you with the background and history of anything here. Sure, please, by all means. Excellent. Where would you like to start? Tell me about the sword. I motioned the broadsword prominently displayed in the center of the room. Terador's fury, its notoriety spans back several hundred years, just after the Empire of Valgos seized Palais from Rizia. Although we lost most of our most important port, we managed to keep our enemy from making further inroads to the kingdom at the Battle of Terador. This sword is said to be the very weapon that severed the head of the commanding general in the Valgos army. Bad luck to mention severed heads in the presence of a king. A bad day for him. To put it lightly. If you'd like, Your Majesty, I can have the sword polished for a ceremonial use. Huh. What message would this be sending, though? Yeah, sure. Might as well polish it. Doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna use it. Yeah, sir, that would be great. Is there anything else you're curious about? Tell me about that impressive suit of armor. I pointed to an intricately adorned armored suit that stood out amongst the others. That would be the armor of King Henricus Taurus, the ancestor from whom all members of your house are descended. After securing power in Monqui, his dynasty maintained a stronghold over the city-state throughout the Marcian era. Upon the foundation of the Kingdom of Rizia, they assumed control over the entire province of Valenqueris. But I'm sure you knew that already. Yes, but it's always good to refresh myself on our history. What else would you like to know? I'm curious to know about whatever that is. I gestured toward a metallic coffin-like contraption that stood upright. That would be Saint Mercy, our aptly named Iron Maiden. Iron Maidens are actually not a real thing. They were made up. I forget why they were made up, but they're not actually a medieval torture device. I forget why and when they were made up. If it was for like amusement fairs or if it was like movie things, but they were not actually medieval things. Torture device from a bygone era, it was last used on suspected spies during the War of Rizian Succession. Lined with spikes on the inside, it was designed to inflict excruciating pain when closed. You'll be happy to know it hasn't been used in quite some time. Could it still be used today? No. A lot of fun could be had with that. Yes, most reassuring. Enhanced interrogation methods have come a long way. Oh, for fuck's sake. In the past century, no need for metal spikes unless you're a traditionalist. Oh, for fuck's sake. Here I was thinking, it has been used in a long time, as in, we don't torture people. No, no, no. It hasn't been used in a long time. We had better ways of torturing people. What else can I tell you about? Enough history, I'm ready to move on. Very well, this way, sir. We continue onward until we reached Captain Gordian's office on the far side of the hall. It too was adorned with a large collection of war memorabilia. Captain Gordian gestured to a sitting area. Please have a seat. I sat on a nearby leather armchair. The captain took out a bottle of wine from a cabinet. Would you care for some fortified wine? It's an exceptional vintage dating back to 1893 from our very own Cantuavo vineyards. Huh. He could have been the one to poison my father. Do I want to take a drink? Just a little bit. I've got to stay sharp for the rest of the day's activities. Of course. Captain Gordian uncorked the bottle and poured us each a glass. After putting it away, he settled in a chair across from me. So, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit? Okay, speak to a real commoner, for fuck's sake. Looking to develop a clearer understanding of the individuals comprising my security detail, particularly the man who's leading them. Well, I'm more than happy to tell you about myself, though you might find hearing about the Golden Guard more interesting. I feel like I've heard enough of the past for now. If there's anything else I can do for you, don't hesitate to ask. Um, why are we not? Thanks again for your. Why are we not talking to him? Okay, fine. Thanks again for your hospitality. Titus gave a heartfelt bow and left my company. Navigating through the armory once more, I eventually find my uncle in the vicinity of Titus's boxing match. There you are. I trust your discussion with Titus was productive. Ah, yes, I seem to have misjudged the captain. I'm pleased to hear it. I won't overstep my bounds by asking the nature of your chat, however, to provide you with optimal guidance, I propose sharing such information with me going forward. Nope. I'll share with you whatever information I deem necessary. Hugo and I said our goodbyes and parted ways. I still wasn't fully sold on whether or not Titus could be trusted, but I was satisfied knowing that my influence over him remained strong. For now. Okay. Novisar oilfield ends production. That is not good. PM Alvarez warns not to underestimate Malianovism. Yeah. Okay, Vezek and resume Friendship Day. I couldn't tell if the sky was growing darker or if it was just the tinted windows of the armored car. The motorcade slowed as it was approaching the Zilla border. A concrete barrier rose up in front of us, its top strung with barbed wire. Now, why would you... don't like the fact that this border is fortified. My mother had insisted on accompanying me to the Vezek Resident Friendship Day festivities. She leaned against the window, uncharacteristically quiet. Are you alright, mother? I'm absolutely fine, darling. Say, might we have the time for a quick detour once we reach town? Of course. She leaned forward and gave the driver an address. He nodded. At the border, we presented our identification documents and the official invitation from President Smolak. As we crossed, the road turned uneven. Promise me you'll get these highways back up and running once Zilla is returned. If Zilla is returned. Factory smokestacks rose up on either side of us. Through the haze, I spotted numerous shanty towns built over the past few years to house miners and refinery workers. We entered the city and drove on through a maze of tenement buildings, their facades hastily repainted to hide the damage from the war 20 years ago. As my mother had instructed him to, the driver veered down a side street that led toward the coast. We stopped in front of a small wooden building with a collapsed roof. The front porch was partly buried in sand. Jagged teeth of broken glass lined the window frames. They say you can't go home again. Rarely do they mean this literally. She blinked back in tears. Can't believe this is the same place we used to go every summer. She put a hand on my shoulder. I never brought my parents here after they fled to Rizia. I knew it would break their hearts. I wish they could have seen it one last time the way it used to be. I thought back to my carefree summers in Zilla. My grandparents had spent the last 10 years of their lives in Palace Resna. Words. Surrounded by luxury, but they never seemed as happy as they did in this house. And I'll have it fixed up one day. It'll be our summer home again. That ship has sailed, child. Just think if I hadn't convinced Valero to get Valen involved in our affairs, none of this would have happened. She looked down at her hands. The Vezek president back then was such an upstanding man. How could I have known he'd go and get himself killed? Yeah. Who knew? Okay. It's not your fault. Father should have reneged the agreement immediately after the assassination. And made outright enemies of Valen while our country was still weak? Don't be foolish. We both fell silent. After a few moments, she plastered a smile on her face. Enough dally. Driver, step on it. We got a date with a psychopath. I mean, there's worse things you could call him. And they would all be accurate. We returned to the main road and drove towards Smollett Square, a circular plaza in the center of town that had once been named after Duke Pedro Sazon. A silver stretch limousine was parked just in front of the square. Our driver stopped and we exited the car flanked by our guards. Say what you will about Smolak, he never makes a dull entrance. Dozen uniformed soldiers hurriedly got information around us, and and the door opened and Victor Smolak stepped out. Your Majesty, King Rama's Queen Mother Estella. He made a sweeping, exaggerated bow and straightened up with a grin. Welcome to Velen. This isn't Velen, though, is it? Please make yourselves at home. Actually, Mr. President, this is my home. Spent my childhood summers here. Of course. My home is your home. Your home is my home. We're friends. Fucking Smolak, slimy little git. He gestured out to the square where a colorful banner reading 24 years of Vezek-Rizian friendship hung above the trio of gleaming tanks. Ah yes, nothing symbolizes friendship like heavy artillery. Exactly, who doesn't love tanks? Today's audience certainly does. Ah, fucking prick. The square was surrounded by grandstands, one side decorated in the colors of Velen's flag, the other in Rizia's red and gold. I heard loud cheers emanating from them. I've invited the finest representatives from both our countries to join us for this special occasion. Follow me, if you will. A semicircular stage was set up in front of the tanks. The crowd roared as we crossed the square and made our way over to it. Looking up into the grandstands, I noticed armed guards standing on every level. Captive audience, that would explain the enthusiasm. Disgusting. This whole ceremony is a sham. My mother and I took our seats. Victor stepped up to the microphone. Vezek's Rizians, people of Zilla. 24 years ago, the glorious country of Velen was given custody of over this land, a great honor and tremendous responsibility. Velen didn't only gain new territory that day, we gained new friends. He gestured meaningfully towards the Rizian side of the stands. After a few seconds, they broke out in scattered applause. My mother muttered a harsh-sounding curse in Zilla dialect. Right, we were supposed to play nice, remember? Together we have overcome war, repaired our economy, and made great strides in science and industry. Even the decision of the Torres family to ally with Rumburg, a nation that obviously wishes Velen harm, could not diminish the beautiful bond we have formed. I look forward to the strengthening that bond for many, many years to come. He stepped to the side and pulled a rope attached to a flagpole. A massive Vezek flag unfurled, then a much smaller Rizian one. You're taking the piss at this point. Let him finish. Sat back in my chair and kept silent. Today I'm especially delighted to be blessed with the presence of Rizia's new king as well as the Queen Mother, of course. They are heirs to a long, proud legacy, one that would have been shattered had Velen and Rizia not made the fateful decision to work hand in hand. On that note, please give a warm welcome to King Romas Torres. I stood up. The Rizian side of the stands immediately erupted in loud, authentic-sounding applause. Thank you, President Smolak. You may not know it, but I am a grandson of Zilla. The Queen Mother and I have deep ties to this land. Okay, let's go with the more diplomatic. It's the more diplomatic one, while still asserting our claim. It pained me when my father signed away this beautiful part of Rizia, yet I knew it was for the greater good. In 1 year, Rizia will resume governorship of Zilla, but I hope that will not mean an end to our country's friendly cooperation. Okay, I pledge to support Rizzians and Veziks alike through the upcoming peaceful transfer of power. Long live our friendship. Both sides of the stands applauded. Victor gave me an appraising glance, then readjusted the microphone. What a speech! The king's got charisma. We have a terrific evening of entertainment lined up, but first we must commemorate this landmark meeting of world leaders with a traditional tripper tank salute. A what? For fuck's sake. There was a rumbling from behind us as the three tanks aimed their barrels into the air. My mother and I looked at each other. It's the first time I've heard of this tradition. A Victor Smolak special. Victor raised a finger up in the air. 1. Tank on the left fire, sending a plume of gold-colored smoke high over the stands. The crowd gasped in excitement. 2. The gun mounted on the tank on the right went off. This time the smoke was magenta. His count was interrupted by an unidentified voice in the distance shouting, "For the king!" Victor whipped his head around in shock. A frenzied look in his eyes, I turned to my mother. Who was that? I don't... A deafening blast, much louder than the two that had preceded it, echoed from the opposite end of the square. I turned towards the source of the sound and saw the Vezek side of the stands engulfed in flames. This ain't good. So much for that peaceful transfer of power, eh? Okay, run towards the stands. Your Majesty, get down! Titus drove at me, tackled me to the ground. Screams of fear and confusion were rising up from all around. Okay, where's Mother? Romus. My mother and Victor were still on the podium, surrounded by a thick cordon of Vezek guards. Don't worry, Mother. They'll be fine. We have to get you out of here. He and Smolak's guards exchanged a series of hand signals. The crowd had begun fleeing in every direction. Titus grabbed my arm and swiftly started ushering me away. I took one last look back. Smoke was now rising from the Vezek grandstand. Part of the structure had collapsed, and soldiers were working to free the people trapped underneath. The next few moments were a blur as we made our way through the panicked hordes of civilians. Victor's limo pulled up, and Titus roughly shoved me inside. Thank God you're safe. My mother's voice shook. She and Victor were sitting across from me, looking dazed. Are you hurt? Of course she isn't. It seemed like no Rizian was armed. Smolak had fire in his eyes. If your people have anything to do with this, there will be a price to pay. I would caution against threatening me, motherfucker. He kept his eyes on me as the car began pulling away. Yes, Friendship Day was particularly friendly this year. Preliminary report on Friendship Day bombing incident. Planted under the grandstands. Killed 3, injured 14. Sulomina. Fucking pain in my ass. Okay, next turn. Thigh is tattered. Okay, what is over here? Okay, city restoration finished. That is good. We are in negative energy now. That is less good. Can we do anything to... Can we do anything to improve on that? We're building the dam, but that's gonna take a while. naval resources. Okay, I don't need to purchase construction. Okay, port and naval shipyard expansion. That is actually something that we would need to look into. So that's -1 energy per turn. Plus marines and +2 ships on completion. That is good. I'll circle back to this. Anything? Okay, let's build the port. That's definitely a good one. I don't have enough. Guessing I don't have enough authority for this. Geological survey. I'll take all the budget I have for this, but I can then sell. That'll cost me the authority I have, so no. What is that? Okay, allow free press. Ah, I don't have enough authority. That's I'll circle back to when I have authority. Okay, anything new? Mining surveys. Okay, Markopan greets present at the university. Greets present at university grand opening. Ah, we finished building the university. Excellent. Okay, how are we military-wise? Can we start producing trucks? Okay. That is fine. That is going to be it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, I have been Pope. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all next time.